Hello and kia ora, I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you very much for joining us for our Thursday weather update for September the 15th. And we're tracking high pressure that's slowly moving in towards New Zealand for the weekend. And we're tracking a rainmaker south of Australia, a storm down in the Southern Ocean. This is it here. Now it's driving in gale force winds. On today's animated wind map, we've put on there the energy levels, which you can see in the bright shading. So on the left-hand side of that storm, this is all gale force winds, all the way from about Albany right across to about Adelaide. It's going to mostly stick to the coastal areas, but it will spread into parts of Victoria and Tasmania and even New South Wales over the coming days. And it will then fall apart next week as it moves from the Southern Ocean in towards the southern Tasman Sea and the South Island of New Zealand, some parts of the North Island as well, and it's going to be more of a rainmaker. So let's try and make sense of all of that. Now, we're going to kick off with the rain map for Australia first of all. The New Zealand ones come in a couple of minutes. We've really got this rainfall coming through for the next 3 days. The biggest totals, about 40 to 60 millimetres, mostly through the mountains and ranges, and that's from 3 days from lunchtime today. The main centres, Adelaide, Melbourne, Hobart, Sydney, Brisbane, your rainfall totals are much lower. So you've got to go into the hills and ranges to really get those bigger totals. Having a look at Friday's rainfall, you can see there's the main front clearing away from eastern Australia. And now you can sort of see what's going to happen as it moves into New Zealand next week. Being blocked by high pressure and a northerly, that's the rain that will be slowly moving over. But for here on Friday, it's stuck out at sea, high pressure moving into the New Zealand area. Frost again tonight, tomorrow morning, and you'll be seeing a few showers in coastal areas, nothing too much. The worst of this storm now coming into South Australia, so Adelaide, and then moving into Victoria, Melbourne across the day with those strong winds, gale force in coastal areas. As we go into the weekend, the surge of stormy weather moves across Melbourne, Victoria, and into Tasmania. It's also blustery with gales at times around Adelaide. But elsewhere, not too bad, westerly winds blowing through. Settled in New Zealand, only a couple of showers around Western Bay of Plenty and Eastern Coromandel, but they won't be very much. As we go into Sunday, high pressure firmly in control of the North Island, but as it moves further off the South Island, in come those northerlies. So Sunday is going to be noticeably milder than it is at the moment, put it that way. So warmer weather coming in by Sunday. You can see that storm has completely fallen apart, but this looks like a complete spring setup when you're sort of seeing mild northerlies, windy westerlies, and colder sou'westers all in the mix. So that's what we're seeing coming through on Sunday. Weather starts to ease across parts of Australia, and now the rain shifts into the New Zealand area. So this is our 3-day rainfall map kicking off from lunchtime on Sunday. Now the main areas of concern, I think, are up here around Nelson and Golden Bay. You're seeing totals getting up over 100 millimetres potentially in the hills. Now that's enough to cause slips. And we've had recent flooding as well, so therefore we could see some slips and flooding around the upper South Island. The West Coast has the biggest totals. There could be over 200, 250 millimetres coming around the glaciers in Hokitika, and we've got around Mount Taranaki, also about 100 millimetres in the mountain there. The blue you see on the eastern side, that's at the bottom of the scale, so that's just a couple of showers. Most of eastern areas not seeing very much in the way of rain. And if you can't figure out what your rainfall total is here, or Wellington, the word is written over the top of you, just go to weatherwatch or ruralweather.co.nz and your hyper-local rainfall totals will show up for you. Let's take a look at Monday. Here we are with high pressure moving away, and that's blocking those rain clouds and making it windier. So we've got mild subtropical airflows coming down for the North Island especially. It'll be wet and nor'west winds blowing through, will be windy. Gales, maybe even severe gale in some areas. Settling down a wee bit in Australia, and still a bit unsettled though around Victoria and right up to ACT and Canberra. You've got this colder airflow coming through, probably a dusting of snow up on the mountains. And then we get to Tuesday next week and things are settling down, or at least drying out for a big portion of Australia. Just a few showers up here around Queensland and a small area of low pressure. Well, it's not super small, it's worth keeping an eye on, but it's not looking overly aggressive. That's what I'm trying to say. And in New Zealand, we've still got those nor'westers, subtropical for the North Island, milder with rain around, and that's still coming into Nelson area, Takaka, and down the west coast. So the place to be next week, probably the eastern side of New Zealand if you don't like the rain. If you don't like the wind, you probably need to be in the north of the country. It's probably not going to be quite as windy there. or down around Southland. So there we go. That's the forecast right through until Tuesday of next week. Our next update will be tomorrow, Friday. We'll see you then.